You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, ChiroThin, Universal Tractioning Systems, Chiropractic Jobs Online, Rhino Coaching, Chiro Matchmakers, True Chiro, and the Social Health Experts Summit. Let's hustle. Everybody, Jim Chester here. This is an afternoon stream. It's almost evening stream, but we are still under the afternoon because he's coming in. Dr. Chris is coming in from the Bay Area, and that's out in California. And I am coming in from Colorado, which it is still almost 4 p.m. here. So we are creeping into the evening hours of the day. But I just want to say thank you to Dr. Chris for jumping on with me today. And this is a really cool episode because I know a lot of people have probably seen changes in me, and they've all been wondering, what the heck is Jim doing, and how is Jim becoming thin? How is he going from this chubby guy to this thin, healthy-looking guy? And before we get into that talk, I just want to say thank you to Jason Strohide and his team at ChiroThin for sponsoring the Chiro Hustle podcast. Many of you don't know, but Chiro Hustle is now the #1 podcast in the chiropractic market space. So thank you for the generous support from ChiroThin for getting me to this point where I am with my health, but also helping support keeping free speech alive in the chiropractic space. But before we get into this, Dr. Chris has been my coach throughout this whole journey for the weight loss journey I've been on for the past 8 weeks. So, Dr. Chris, let's talk a little bit about ChiroThin and what sets it apart in the whole market and in the weight loss space.
Sure. Well, and thank you. And just to put it out there, I just want to say it was a pleasure, and it was a lot of fun working with you these past 8 weeks and helping. And it's such a pleasure seeing less of you. Just so you know, right?
Yeah.
So with ChiroThin, it's for chiropractors, created by chiropractors. Dr. Strothide basically created this program to support chiropractors. No medical doctors, naturopaths, no one is allowed to use this program for that reason alone. And so I was totally behind all that. I love it. I said, great, I want to do this. And when I first met Dr. Jason, who was the owner of ChiroThin, this is going back 3 years, I just knew that I was into the right thing. After we got a chance to meet, kind of shared some things of what we do here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I just knew this was going to be, an amazing a fit for us and for a lot of people I know that are in the weight loss space or looking for something. A lot of chiropractors going, God, what can we do to help these people? How do we integrate this into our practice? And so it's been awesome. And, so we've been having a lot of fun with this, not only with our own patients, but it's opened up a whole new way of me practicing today than I would ever dreamed of coming out of chiropractic school over 24 years ago. So.
And that's just it, is I think that you guys have given something to the market because so many times people want to implement something that works, and most people just don't know where to trust the source, or most people don't know where to go or who to trust for the right system. Now, let's talk about the systems that support ChiroThin and why I had such great success with this.
Yeah, well, first of all, you had structure. You had a structure where you knew what kind of foods you're supposed to eat. You had meal recipes that were congruent with that structure. You had me as your accountability partner and health coach. We were in contact with each other on a daily basis for about 2 months. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we had the technology to facilitate that communication for us to be in touch with each other every 2 months, to where anything that you said or inputted would be received by me or you in real time. So I knew what you were eating, what you were drinking, where your weight was, what your struggles were, whatever that was. You got real-time coaching. And I always tell people this, that I run this weight loss program like a concierge should. You have access to my bat phone. I am your partner in every essence of the word.
Yeah, it's been really cool too, because not only did I get a chance to work with you throughout this journey, but I've also realized where there were some bottlenecks for what you guys were developing for the actual end user. And one of those was that portal to get people connected with you to where you did have real-time communication with the end user, the client, giving that concierge service to say, hey, you're not alone ever. And let's talk a little bit about that portal. And I know that it does some coaching, but it also does some connectivity. And was that a real bottleneck that you guys were dealing with the solution that this is now helping?
Yeah, because before I was doing things in a way, let's just say, is not the right way to do it, and that was by text messaging. Okay, and depending on the platform you're using, let's just say this: I was not being HIPAA compliant. Okay, because God forbid if something happened to my phone, oh my God, just the people that are on there and the communication that took place, I'd be in a lot of trouble. So what's great about this particular portal, it's called the ChiroThin Tracker. It was designed specifically for ChiroThin, doctors or doctors that have a license through the ChiroThin program to use to best serve their patients. It's HIPAA compliant, it's efficient, there's tech support, and it was designed by Dr. John Schellenberg out of Fargo, North Dakota, okay, who was also a ChiroThin doctor.
Well, the thing that I really loved about this also is the daily affirmations and the daily consistent emails as well. And I think that was something of really motivator once you're on this journey, that you do get like that daily check-in and that you do get like that personal touch. I know that it's a huge ChiroThin family out there too. I know that Dr. Jason is approaching something like 1,000 offices that are using the ChiroThin system. So that's a huge win. And, it's not only helping, the chiropractic community get healthy, but it's also offering something of a resource to their patient base.
Absolutely. And just like you said, with the amount of offices that Dr. Jason has in ChiroThin nutraceuticals, and let's not forget about Frank, his partner, who helps onboard us, and he's just been really great getting to know when we have it. He's the guy behind the guy, and he's the one that helps get doctors into the system. And so between Frank, Patty, and Jason and Jason's son Andrew, I mean, it's all been really great. So I just didn't want to leave anyone out there.
No, it's a cool team. It is.
I mean, team. Yeah, and you're talking about and I always say this, and I'm getting a little off topic, but I just have to say this. I told Jason a long time ago, Jason, out of all the things I've been involved with in the years of chiropractic, just if there's any one person I could always say, like, God, is there anyone I can't trust other than Jason Strothide? It's like he's that guy. All right. So you're dealing with great people to work with who was very successful. He had 2 or 3 chiropractic offices. He sold them so he can go full time and help chiropractors like us across the country and also in Canada. Okay. So that's really cool. Now, as far as, the structure, but it's just having the resources. Yeah, he put it all out there. This is a turnkey system. Now, there is some work to be done, don't get me wrong, but the work is just something that is so fulfilling when your patients come, and I can actually put on my documents that people sign that I guarantee they're going to lose at least 20 to 25 pounds in 6 weeks. Okay. I don't know many programs out there that could literally say that or put it in writing or do that. But once we started doing that and seeing it, it gave people such an immense amount of joy and comfort knowing that they're at the right place. It's doctor supervised, by us, by a chiropractor. It's done by someone who's, a lot of these ChiroThin doctors that are facilitating the program have also done the program. So they could share their experience and how things are going to go, what the patient gets to look forward to kind of future cast, like, look, it's going to be awesome when you can put those pants on again. It's going to be awesome when you don't have to take a deep breath to button that top button. It's going to be awesome, and then you're going to sleep through the night and not snore and wake up your wife or husband. Okay. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of, it's going to be nice when you can see certain parts of your anatomy that you haven't seen in a long time. Okay. So there's all kinds of great things that come with this, but the best thing is just seeing how quick people change physically, emotionally, and how efficient they become in life because of that extra confidence that they exude to others.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about my results. And
let us talk about that, shall we?
I think that'd be cool for the audience because, I do have a pretty far reach when it comes to me being, a voice for this movement with Chiro Hustle, and seeing the results that I've had are pretty astounding. And people see me out in public and they right away, they're like, what the heck are you doing?
Right. They're going to say, "Hey, is everything okay? Are you sick? Is there something you haven't told us? I mean, what happened? I just saw you 3 weeks ago and you look a lot different now, you know?" Yeah. So, I mean, so you get those then you get people like, "Oh my God, you look amazing. What have you been doing?" Right. So that's how usually it goes. But do you mind if I share your results a little bit?
No, please, let's share it with everybody. Let's tell
Yeah.
people what happened.
So within 6 weeks, you dropped 30 pounds. Okay. 6 weeks, folks. I mean, and I always refer to him as chemo. That means Jim in Hawaiian. So chemo has lost 30 pounds in 6 weeks, and he's been able to keep it off as we've been ingraining this new fat burning metabolism with him. And so with that, he's also getting other structures so that if he needs to lose more weight, he can, or that he can maintain it because he likes how he feels and is just going to continue on with this healthy lifestyle. And so there's a lot of things that go on with this, not only with Jim, but with a lot of other people during that 6 week time period. That when I was doing more on the functional medicine stuff, where I was running a lot of labs, giving people a lot of vitamins, nutrition, I wasn't nearly getting the results I did in such a short period of time. And that cost me and my patient a lot more money. Okay. But with this program, I figured that if we can do two things, decrease inflammation in the body, decrease weight, increase metabolism, a lot of these metabolic things go away go away very quickly. And that's lifestyle, right? So this is not just a weight loss program. This is a lifestyle program, and it, just like the tagline says, it's more than just weight loss. We are teaching people how to get healthy and stay that way. And that has its cost in so many different ways. I mean, the value of that is just unreal.
Yeah, for me personally, I had thought about, what can I do to have a better quality of life, as everybody that approaches that new year, which was like 24 days ago, they're like, people approached that same day as me, and they were probably saying, gosh, what are my New Year's resolutions? Well, I know when we jumped into this, I was going through the holidays with it, which kind of sucked. So I had to look at other people eating on a holiday type lifestyle where I was still in control of myself. I went home for the holidays and saw all my friends and family, and still managed to follow through with the healthy lifestyle choices that I was on that path with. So it was challenging along the way. But honestly, the process of learning how to feed yourself properly, learning how to source good food for yourself, from becoming a better grocery shopper, you appreciate some of these small things that you learn along the way. And as people knew me, I was becoming the guy that was everywhere. So when you have that lifestyle, you're always on the road. You don't really live on a consistent flow. You have a lot of peaks and valleys, and a lot of changes of scenery, changes of location. So there's a lot of inconsistency with the schedule. So even doing that while I was on the road and during the holidays, I seemed to be able to manage that whole process.
You not only managed it, you crushed it, chemo. All right, and that's what's great about this program. And let's put it this way, and this is where having that accountability, and
it meant a lot.
Right, it meant a lot. And I always let people know, look, I have a responsibility to you. I'm just not responsible for you. You're going to have to do the work here. But as long as you're willing to do the work, and I'm seeing and you're entering things in the portal, I'm able to coach you in real time to get you prepared for that trip you're about to take. What you need to order when you go to a restaurant, what you need to tell the server when you're there, what you may even need to tell family members when you're with them, and how they can best support you in this journey. Okay. So it's kind of multifaceted in a way here, but being someone that has been on the program, okay, I get it. And that's what also helps me facilitate that process with my patients that come in here. I understand and get where they've been, and I'm going to help share my experiences to enlighten them that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to come quickly,
Yeah, and that was something that I experienced too, is the hardship of telling myself no, and the hardship of having to take on new roles into my life, like becoming the grocery shopper, becoming the dish doer, becoming the food prepper. A lot of these roles, I would have chose not to have done them personally, but because I knew that this was going to retrain myself to be a more conscious shopper, and to prepare myself the top level food that I require for my life design. I think, you know, that does make people also pay attention to the quality of resources that they will burn for fuel.
Yes.
And, you know, for me to become the shopper, the cook, the dish doer, and all those roles,
Right.
it taught me some really cool things about, you know, development. And now I'm happy to do the grocery shopping. Now I'm happy to make sure that everything is prepared the right way. And it empowered me to become a better facilitator of my kitchen, because people tell me this all the time, Doc, is 80% of the results come from the kitchen, not from the gym.
Absolutely. It's, and here's the thing too. This is another benefit of Chirothin. We are, let's also take a step back. What does the word doctor mean? It means teacher. We are now teaching people how to take better care of themselves, to have a better lifestyle. I mean, you were basically being taught, like, okay, I need to do these things to also get to this target that I've been, trying to achieve for months or years or whatever that may be. But you are now learning as a student, as an individual, how to take better care of yourself, and you're totally reaping the rewards of this. And a lot of things have changed as this process has gone on. I mean, even certain foods or beverages, we're being a little bit more leery of, because now our filters have been cleaned, right? This is also a detox program. We're cleaning out the filters, the liver, the kidneys, the lymphatics, where things taste a little bit differently than they did before. Some things you don't want to even think about eating ever again, or drinking for that matter, because those filters have been cleaned. And that's a very unique and powerful place to be in your life and in your health. And this is a very common thing that people experience.
Well, I think at turning 40, you want to hit that like metabolism reset. And I know that there's so many people out there that probably would have on their top 5 things to do is to get more fit and lose some weight. And I think that if people just paid attention to the old Warren Buffett adage is you have to invest in yourself. I think that once you start investing in yourself, you have to become a different version of yourself in order to live into the space that you've created. And I think so many of us just want to live the same day over and over until the end, and then we retire. And that's not because by choice, but that's because by indoctrination of the lifestyle that they adhere to. And I think this does challenge people a lot, because you do have to be very cognizant of healthy choices on a daily basis. Right. You have to tell yourself that, yeah, I like to intermittent fast. And yes, this is important to wait until this window of opportunity to get my first meal. And then, yes, I have to make sure that my next meal for my fuel source is in by this point. And, being prepared for that stuff, I mean, it's like every day you have to build yourself into a better routine in order to get yourself to where you are prepared for that next day or that next week or the next 4 weeks. And after you see those results starting to happen after like month 4, I will tell you, it doesn't get any easier, but you become better systemized at accepting the challenge.
Absolutely. And, the old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And you're definitely stronger for that. I mean, you can now reflect on, wow, back then, and where I am now, it's kind of like, okay, I get it. Now, you had to go through kind of like the pit, right? To get to a point of, of joy and, fulfillment. And it doesn't, and like you were saying, it doesn't stop from there. It keeps going. And there's always going to be challenges, right? And the one thing I always tell people, it's never a great time to start losing weight, right? I mean, no matter what, life is going to happen. Life is going to happen. Now, if a vacation's coming up within a week, chances are you probably don't want to start at that point. You want to start when you get back from vacation. But in all honesty, I mean, it's one of those things. It begins when you commit to it, and then you just go with it. And you have to have the right team of people around you to help you get there.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, Chirothin, Universal Tractioning Systems, Chiropractic Jobs Online, Rhino Coaching, Chiro Matchmakers, True Chiro, and the Social Health Experts Summit. Let's hustle.
Right.
Yeah, and I think, here's something that I can kind of in closing, talk to our audience about too is not only did it make me more streamlined in my appearance and in my self-esteem, but it made me more streamlined in my business acumen. And it
Right.
allowed me more clarity because honestly, I'll tell you guys something. I went through everything that I owned and I got rid of like a truck and a half load of stuff.
Wow.
And I'm a minimalist as it is, so I pared down through things and got rid of stuff. But
Right.
it made me clean up my whole surrounding. It made me realize the opportunities that I actually have, and it made me less in that fog state of just existing rather than becoming the driver that I know that I am. So it really, like you said, it
Awesome.
I filtered through all of the crud, and I found a better version of myself. And I found more resources that I had at my fingertips, and I paid attention to those better because of my clarity.
Yeah. It's so you get rid of some things, and guess what? You just open the door for a lot of other things, good things, as a matter of fact. And you shared some things with me, and I said, yeah, I mean, once you're out with the old, and a whole host of new and amazing opportunities are there for you. And I can definitely, relate to that. So that's good. That's awesome. Very happy for
Well,
you.
are there any other questions you might have for me as being my coach that has seen me go through this process?
Yeah, other than the fact that it's nice to see less of you, what were some of the, like I said, you went through the struggles, and everyone has that, by the way. There's no such thing as an easy weight loss program. I think you and I both agreed with that, but
Hmm.
it sure does make it a lot easier or less, based on someone who can keep you accountable. You're not alone, right? I mean, did you ever feel alone as we were working together on this program?
No, even on like my worst day, I could be honest with you, and I felt like there was like that respect for me to know that you were my overseeing doctor. I knew that there was like a definite like bond that I had like an attachment, and I'd never felt like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah, because we also talked about different things too that as men, we don't really talk about things like this. I'm not going to go into it, but there's just that place where it's safe. It's a safe place for us to, communicate. It's private. And so that way, the bottom line is we want you to win. And that's kind of like my thing. It says, look, you've been playing this game for a while. Let's win it now. Okay. Now you got the right people in place to do it. You got the right team. Okay. I think the other question I have for you too is, I mean, other than your experience of working with us, you've tried other programs. You kind of, we're not going to mention names, what those programs are, but what separates Chiro Within from a lot of the programs that you've experienced?
I think the length of the program presents a whole different level of dedication to the process.
Okay.
I think the other programs that I've tried were not as robust as an offering. And not to say that the things that I've tried in the past weren't great. They may work for some people, but I really felt like the structure around Chirothin was the part that made it better and different. And I thought that, the external connection to having somebody that was in my corner, whether it be for a helpful word or consistent message. I think that those things were really the thing that made it better and different. And knowing that somebody really had my interest at stake with theirs, because results do matter, not only to make sure that I'm getting healthy and the investment's going in the right direction, but also making sure that I didn't walk alone. And I think that that's one of the things that I've also come away from this. Not saying that other programs that I've tried didn't stick with me and coach me and walk with me. I just think that the dedication that what happens after 6 weeks is life transforming.
Wow.
And I think that when people go into it with, lesser time or lesser commitment, and, I even tried these other products where you should be able to eat what you want to. And really, it's not about a supplement that comes into your body. It's about a lifestyle and how you feed yourself.
Right. There we go.
I think that's a huge difference.
Great. Yeah. Like I said, and again, now you have the tools for that. You've been taught that. It's not like we got to keep doing this over and over again. No, you have now. You invested in the time, the energy, and it's paying off for you. And this is when it kind of like what you said. One of the things I go into every patient or new consult that I have with this program is I look at, the certain questions I ask them that I keenly dig into them with, is, what are they here for one thing, how can we best serve them? But the one thing I always ask myself is, who is this person for other people? Maybe it's a mother, a wife, a husband, a father, a son, a caretaker, or, someone important at the workplace. Who depends on them to be healthy and at their best on a daily basis? And that gives a whole new different focus now on why they need to lose the weight. Okay, they're not just losing weight to lose weight. They go, no, there's a reason behind it. There's a reason why they're here. It's not always just vanity. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though we are a Californian, and we want that, but when you dig deeper, people get a sense of, yeah, I'm not just losing the weight to look better. I mean, there's things on the line here. It could be, I want to get off these medications. I want to get healthier. I want to look and feel better. I feel like my life's in a fog, and within weeks that can change. That's the beauty of this Chiro Within program.
Yeah, I can't say it better. And you've had a lot of experience helping a lot of people with similar types of passages through this transition. Right. So it's awesome that you can be somebody that can facilitate this type of level of service.
Thank you.
I think that's another thing that's different within Chiro Within is there's definitely a certain level of service. Right. And I think that's what people really get out of being attached to this brand is they get somebody that is their advocate. And they get somebody that's been there, done that, and has helped multiple people with this type of offering. I think
go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, sorry. Jump in.
Just on what you just said there, another big person who is supportive of me is my wife. Without her, I swear I would not be with the success I've had today. Okay, we're using Chiro Within. She is the front line when people come here. We do a lot of different things in the office, and she looks at the paperwork, and these, mostly women that come in here, they have an expectation that by doing this, they're going to get these wonderful results with their weight. Once she looks over their medical history, what kind of drugs they're on, she says, this is not for you. You need to talk to my husband, Dr. Colgin, because he has a program here that's going to help you get better. She does a great job of enrolling these people that come in to let them know that, look, you may have come in here for this, but this is really what you want, right? And she goes, let's go over, let's see if Dr. Colgin's available, so at least you could talk with him. If you can't talk right then, let's set up an appointment so you can. So I have to thank my wife, she's, thank God for my wife, because not only does she such a big stand for people to get well and stay well, but she knows that every opportunity is an opportunity to help more people. With what we're doing here. So hats off to her. Thanks, honey. Love you.
Well, the team aspect of this whole thing is very fundamental. Right. And, I think it's like, training somebody to go do something that doesn't know how to do the first step in it, they're never going to get to that next step. So having somebody in place that can be a driver for you and help you build business and earn business is definitely a very important person and part of the model. Right. And that's really what you have been for me, is you've been my driver. You've been the person to help me get into that position for success. And that's really the fundamentals of having Jason as the leadership of this brand. Right. Is he's the driver that puts you in the position for success to give those different incremental successes to people that take you as their coach and that use the system. I think that it's all fundamental, and whether it be Sandy that's helping you be the driver for the success of business and allowing you to touch more lives on a deeper level, sure. People are only going to commit to something as great as the person that is helping them believes in it.
Right. That's the thing with Jason. Jason has put together. He created Chiro Within. This was something that was downloaded in him from God. Right. Just one day he was driving home and it hit him, and he called Frank. And Chiro Within started from there, right? And, he saw the big picture. He goes, look, I can only help so many people in my area, but I know I can help a lot more people outside of my area if I go with this. And now he's at that position in his life where he can do that. And yes, people like us, people like Dr. Schellenberg, we're kind of like, we're spreading the word. We're spreading his brand of how to help people in a healthy and very efficient way. So, I thank Jason every day for that. It's just, I
Well,
can't.
what he's also doing is he's developing a strategy to market better,
Right.
and he's touching more opportunities like sponsoring Cairo Hustle. He's building relationships with the brand, and he's doing a great job of integrating this product and this system with so many
Right.
people, which I think that's the next thing is creating a unified sales force that will go out there and actually help drive in business to these Cairo offices. I think
Right.
is a very integral part, and whether it's digital or whether it's going out and creating some type of sales strategy. But I do think that the brand is dynamic. I think that it's given me a lot of hope for what I was going through with my challenges, and it's cleaned up so many of my life choices. So it's like you said, it's deeper than a commitment, and in such a short turnaround of time, the results get met. And maybe you do have to forget about like a Super Bowl party. Maybe you do have to forget about eating around the Christmas table. Maybe you do have to forget about going out and having drinks on New Year's Eve. Maybe you do have to, push some things aside that don't feed your wants.
That's right.
But if you do want the outcome, the system is very well established and the brand is strong. And I love what you guys are doing and how many people you're serving with this possibility.
Well, thank you. And here's the other thing too, for doctors out there, other chiropractors that I have been kind of looking at, what's the best weight loss program for them? Call Frank at ChiroThin. He'll basically, and this is a no pressure situation, guys. This is something where this is how you get to know ChiroThin a little bit. And Frank is, he's the first impression of the company. You talk to him, whatever he can do to help you out. There's all kinds of ways to see if this is a fit for your office, and you don't have to worry about emptying out your wallet. Okay, it's a very, very, very reasonable test kit fee to see, hey, is this something that we want to go further into? And also too, what else is great about ChiroThin is we have a doctor's ChiroThin community where we're bouncing ideas off each other daily. Hey, what works there? What's working there? How can we get more support there? How do you do this here? We all are one big family, and I think you noticed that, Kimo, when you came out to Clearwater, Florida, just how much fun and how much of a joy it was for all of us to be together there to help each other and share our successes.
Well, it's a think tank,
right?
It's a think tank community. And anytime I think that you have a lot of strong leaders within a framework of a strong brand, you have an ability to mobilize a movement. Right. And I think that that's what's happened. And when you start becoming successful, you pour that on to more success. Absolutely. And then when Jason's having more success, he can support people like us, people that do hustle and do the job the right way. And without, generous contributions from our sponsors, we may have lost momentum.
Right. And Jason is the gift that keeps on giving. He keeps giving to us doctor-wise, so we could just do better in practice to you, to the cause, to chiropractic. He just does the right thing, and we have a lot of respect for that.
And then that goes back to what you were saying about, the team structure and the strategies that are in place and the resources that people have access to and the group of people that are actually, the facilitating docs being in a consortium group. I think that there's a lot to be said about, that think tank and what that does as a result. So what that result happened is Schellenberg was able to create this portal to stay in touch with us. There was probably a pain point where they're like, well, we're not staying in touch with our people enough. Well, what should we do? Well, let's create an indoctrination email campaign that gets an email to this person every day to keep them motivated to stay in this course. So I think that there's a lot of creative ways to communicate with the people, but you probably learned that because the team is strong and communicates.
That's right. Yeah. That's been great.
Well, if you guys are interested in ChiroThin as a solution for your needs at your chiropractic office, reach out to us. ChiroThin.com is floating above the screen. But if you guys want to click on that link up there in the description of this Facebook Live, you can click on there too. And if you guys do want to ask me personally, how the heck did you lose 30 pounds? I'd be happy to share my story with you. I could share my successes with you. I could share my struggles with you. But yeah, you guys definitely get a different, better version of me as we roll into this new year of 2019. And a lot of that is due because of Dr. Chris and the support with the ChiroThin brand.
Thank you. And you can always message me too as well. I think it's under Christopher Colgin on Facebook, or if you go to chriscolgin360.com, that's my social site. So you can always contact or connect with me that way, and I'd be happy to share my experience of how ChiroThin works and how it could work for you. And whatever. I'm an open book. I love helping the profession as much as possible. And believe me, folks, I've been there. Not all our days are golden, but things have really changed for the better since we've implemented ChiroThin in our practice. So it's been really a great experience.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coaching me through this journey. I know it's not over; it's just the start. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to so many more opportunities with you and the ChiroThin team as we all develop and become stronger as a unified front. And yeah, thanks for giving yourself as a resource to our community for anything that's needed. Is it okay if I go and close out? Sounds like it's time to go.
It's okay. Let's do it. Mahalo, Chemo. Thank you for everything. Really appreciate you, and look forward to seeing less of you, buddy.
All right, man. Well, you're just one story away. Keep hustling. Thank you, everybody that's been on with me tonight. And if you guys do find some value in this #value, and please share this with your audiences too. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Aloha.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.